You're listening to Spreaker Web Radio.
Muy buenas tardes a todos. En un momento más, en un momento más, en un momento más voy a tratar de hacer la comunicación con Alex Collier. Perdón, antes que nada, bienvenidos a Demise Radio en este 3 de febrero de 2012. Son casi las 12 en punto aquí en la Ciudad de México. A ver, ahí está. El día de hoy vamos a tener una entrevista con el señor Alex Collier. Va a ser en inglés, no hay traducción en línea. Entonces, para aquellos quienes pues dominen el idioma inglés, seguramente van a entender todo lo que aquí se diga. Para quienes no, la entrevista será subtitulada, traducida, para ser pues subida a YouTube posteriormente. Esto puede tardar pues esto puede tardar un poquito. Esto puede tardar un poquito, pues debido a que hay que hacer una serie de cosas pues para poder llevar a cabo la entrevista. A la gente que está conectada en Skype, les pido por favor que mientras esté yo haciendo la conversación con el señor Alex Collier, no manden mensajes, no los voy a contestar, no me hagan llamadas, no voy a contestar, voy a estar atendiendo la llamada con Alex. De hecho va a ser directamente desde Skype, entonces seguramente no se van a poder poner en contacto. Ahora, ¿qué es lo que va a suceder? En el momento en el que yo dé pues la señal, casi al final de la entrevista, voy a solicitarle al señor Alex Collier que nos regale unos minutos para poder contestar preguntas de la gente que está conectada por Skype. En caso de que exista algún problema técnico, porque hace rato estuve haciendo muchas pruebas y hubo por ahí algunas cosillas, está el chat en línea, y si no, voy a estar conectado a través del Messenger. El Facebook no lo voy a atender, entonces también absténganse de mandar mensajes ahí, se los pido por favor. No lo voy a atender, no lo voy a estar viendo, precisamente para tener pues un orden y poder llevar la dinámica del programa, bueno, de esta entrevista un poco más rápido. Entonces voy a estar conectado por el Messenger, por el Skype. Voy a abrir el canal de comunicación en cuanto la entrevista termine, y bueno, para darle paso a ustedes para poder participar. Entonces les voy a dejar con un track de música en lo que entablo la llamada y yo regreso. Muy buenas tardes a todos. En un momento más en un momento más voy a tratar de hacer la comunicación con Alex Collier. Perdón, antes que nada, bienvenidos a Demise Radio en este 3 de febrero de 2012. Son casi las 12 en punto aquí en la Ciudad de México. A ver, ahí está. El día de hoy vamos a tener una entrevista con el señor Alex Collier. Va a ser en inglés, no hay traducción en línea. Entonces, para aquellos quienes pues dominen el idioma inglés, seguramente van a entender todo lo que aquí se diga. Para quienes no, la entrevista será subtitulada, traducida, para ser pues subida a YouTube posteriormente. Esto puede tardar pues esto puede tardar un poquito. Esto puede tardar un poquito, Pues debido a que hay que hacer una serie de cosas pues para poder llevar a cabo la entrevista. A la gente que está conectada en Skype, y les pido por favor eh, que mientras esté yo haciendo la conversación con el señor Alex Collier, no hagan, no manden mensajes, no los voy a contestar, no me hagan llamadas, no voy a contestar, voy a estar atendiendo la llamada con Alex. De hecho va a ser directamente desde Skype, entonces seguramente no se van a poder poner en contacto. Ahora, ¿qué es lo que va a suceder? En el momento en el que en el momento en el que yo dé pues la señal, casi al final de la entrevista, voy a solicitarle al señor Alex Collier que nos regale unos minutos para poder contestar preguntas de la gente que está conectada por Skype. En caso de que exista algún problema técnico, porque hace rato estuve haciendo muchas pruebas y hubo por ahí algunas cosillas, está el chat en línea, y si no, voy a estar conectado a través del Messenger. El Facebook no lo voy a atender, entonces también absténganse de mandar mensajes ahí, se los pido por favor. No lo voy a atender, no lo voy a estar viendo, precisamente para tener pues un orden y poder llevar la dinámica del programa, bueno, de esta entrevista un poco más rápido. Entonces voy a estar conectado por el Messenger, por el Skype. Voy a abrir el canal de comunicación en cuanto la entrevista termine, y bueno, para darle paso a ustedes para poder participar. Entonces los voy a dejar con un track de música en lo que entablo la llamada y yo regreso. Okay. Well, you are live now. It's a real honor to talk to you again, sir, and I have to tell you that this conversation is being broadcasted, as I told you before, on the internet. Even when it's being recorded, also it will be translated later for the people who don't speak English. So you are being listened by a few people in Latin America who are attending this opportunity that you gave to me again to have a conversation. I think that after 2 years and a half since the last conversation that we had by phone, I assume that there are a lot of things to discuss, right?
Well, even if you weren't talking to me and you were just watching the news, there's obviously a lot going on. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, right. But before we get started with this conversation, I would like to know about the situation that you had a few months ago. The reason why Rob Stanley started an aid project for you, and the same thing that I start with the people who read my website in order to provide more help to you. I read a few days ago on the Unicus magazine blog that the project has ended. So please let us know, how are you doing, sir?
Well, Carlos, Bob ended that because he was overwhelmed. He was basically doing nothing all day but fielding emails and forwarding things to me. Our situation here is still not good. Bob needed to just move on, and he couldn't be in the middle. And I'm so grateful for what he did do. But we could still somehow. Hopefully that will end soon, but we're not at all in a stable situation here. And that's where that's at. It's better, at least we're not in the snow. But it's not completely fixed by any stretch.
Wow, so, well, I read that he stated that you were fine right now, but
I know he did.
Okay. So so you are telling me that you still need help, right?
Yes, exactly right.
So how did he do that? I mean, why did he do that? I mean, he knows.
That's another conversation.
Okay.
That's another conversation. So why don't we just, get into what's happening with the world and, I do want to share something with your folks, with you as well. There is a scientist out of England whom I just had the pleasure of watching speak on the internet. And a good friend of mine forwarded that information to me. And I think it would be absolutely, I think it's absolutely paramount that everybody at least view this at least once. And the person we are talking about, her name is Susan Joy, Susan S-U-S-A-N, Joy, J-O-Y, Renison, R-E-N-N-I-S-O-N. And she has compiled a great deal of information, I guess, over the years, covering science, metaphysics, quantum physics, solar weather patterns, galactic weather, for lack of a better word. And she's compiled this into a 3-hour presentation that she did in January of 2011. And if you type in her name, you go to her website, on the left-hand side, you will see 2 lectures. One is an introduction, which I believe is about an hour, and then below it is a 3-hour presentation. I am asking you and all of your listeners, it's in English, she's from Britain, to watch it. It is really that good. And you know how we talk about ascension, and we talk about how the frequency is changing and the Earth is changing, and how our DNA is accelerating, things like that. Well, she has combined all this information to scientifically prove that it is in fact happening. And scientists know it, but they're just not talking about it.
Okay.
So what it does is it validates everything that not only I, but others who are contactees and channelers have been talking about for years and years and years. It totally validates all of that. And it's pretty remarkable stuff. I mean, this is definitely really happening. There's nowhere to hide. We just have to embrace the change. So with that, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, well, I think that here are a lot of questions. I received some questions from people who read the website, but I first thing I will ask you to talk about is regarding the current situation on Earth. I mean, you know that you know about a lot of things that are being exposed. We have a group of people trying to start a World War III. Then we have a false flag invasion and other plans of this monstrous plan for spreading viruses among the population. Then we have a solar activity which is causing some changes on Earth's nature in some way, and a lot of different things happening around the globe. What's yours? I mean, I'm getting crazy with this, but what is your perspective about the current issues on Earth?
Well, that's a big question. Let's start with I think the first thing you said was false flags and things like that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Sure. Well, it's pretty clear that there's a group who have set themselves apart from the rest of humanity, that consider themselves above and better than the rest of humanity. And they have literally declared themselves our rulers. And I think what's happening is racism, their corruption has led things to a path, to a place where their empire is crumbling and collapsing within itself, because they've given nothing back. They've just given nothing back. They have taken and taken and taken and taken and taken. And, at some point, when you've just taken everything, the host, which is us, just gives up, starts to die off. And it's not that we're dying off, but the host has nothing left to give. They've taken everything. And the problem with people like this is no matter how much they get, no matter how much power, no matter how much wealth, it's never, ever enough. And what's happening now is that they're beginning to feed off each other. So it's collapsing, and they're basically being exposed. Everybody is beginning to understand what's really been going on. They've been seeing through the lies, or they're beginning to see through the lies. And, it isn't just government, it's religious, it's economic. Basically, it's like we've been living one reality, and they've been telling us that it's really another reality. But now we're really beginning to see that what they've been telling us isn't true, isn't accurate. And we're beginning to see through the whole thing, and it isn't just a question, Carlos, of seeing through it. We're also seeing who's been doing the lying. And that's really, really important. Because if you remember in Hawaii, if you had the opportunity to watch that lecture that I gave at the beginning of 2010, I made reference to, asking, what is it that we wanted? What do we want? The question was, what do you want? Do you want to live in a world without money? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And really all we had to do in order to create what we wanted was to turn our focus away from this incredible drama, this programming, this controlled programming of what they've been telling us, and just kind of bond together humanity and create something that's a win-win for everybody, that benefits everybody. And it is honestly, I think it's easier to create that than it is to continue to keep up the fraud, the lies, to continue to perpetrate this. Well, let's pretend everything's okay, even though 2/3 of the planet is starving, let's just pretend everything's okay. That takes a lot more energy than to actually just fix everything, and let's just all live together in harmony and prosperity. So that's positive. There's going to be some real serious shocks, I think, to people when they really find out what's coming out and what's really been going on and the depth of it. I also think that, globally, the Earth is going through an amazing transition. And I know that there has been some help, off-world, extraterrestrial help, in keeping things stable as long as possible. That the Earth, she's expanding, she's growing, and at some point, she's going to literally make her physical shift. I don't know the day or the hour, but at some point that's going to happen, and there's going to be massive geological change. We know that the magnetic field is moving. It's moving towards Siberia. We also know that at the South Pole, the South Magnetic Pole is moving towards Australia. We know that weather patterns are changing all over the planet. moving along with our galaxy as it's spinning. And we're moving into, our solar system actually has just begun to move into a large plasma cloud. Once we are immersed in that cloud, now we're not talking a photon belt. This is plasma. Okay? Everything is going to really start to change. Not only consciousness, but physicality, awareness is going to change. There's going to be some growth. There are going to be huge shifts in consciousness. How we handle that, I think, will dictate what our future is going to be. I believe very, very soon that we're going to get some help. I mean, one of the things that, in my opinion, humanity really, really needs, all of us, is to really know our history. Who are we really? You know, what is the real history of Earth? And I think once that happens, I believe very soon that we're going to start getting those answers. And I would expect a group, not from one particular star, but from many different stars, and they will more than likely be human, will begin to interact pretty openly in giving us this information. Now, it's possible that the dark side, the group that is here trying to control a planet, and has been controlling a planet for thousands of years, they try to do something, create a world war, they may try to play out the second coming using technology, using clones. Any of that stuff is possible. Will it be allowed to happen? I don't know. I hope it doesn't, because I think it will only confuse and cloud the issue even more. But it's possible. Maybe it needs to, once and for all, so that humanity will stop giving its power away. You know, that we will step into our own power, our own self-reliance, our own self-responsibility, and really taking credit and responsibility for what we create every single day. Now, it's interesting that we can really start openly talking about these kind of things. But, 10, 15 years ago, we couldn't talk about these things very openly. It's funny that America is supposed to be the home of the brave, land of the free, and yet, America, there is so much suppressed information and technology here that it's staggering. So it's been a real contradiction to be in America and try to talk about these things and share this information. Dealing with the hassles and the threats, and, just so many other things, too numerous to list. But change is happening, literally happening everywhere. How things are going to shake out, I don't know. It's clear that consciously we are absolutely part of this process. And I think as each one of us individually wakes up, or collectively wake up, we begin to grasp more and more of what our situation really is. And at that point, we can take more responsibility for the direction we're going. Right now, everybody's some are very, very confused as to what's really happening. And, they're watching the news, and the news is saying one thing, but inside their intuition is telling them something completely different. And I would just say to the listeners, you have to really trust your intuition. Now is the time to genuinely embrace your intuition, because the media, corporations, the military-industrial complex, the government, they are really controlled by a few. And it isn't over with these guys yet. They are still playing their games. They are still grasping power. They are not wanting wanting to relinquish power. So there's going to be friction. There's going to be a lot of friction. We are getting a lot of help from off planet. At some point, it's going to, instead of being so hidden, it's going to become more and more open. I'm hoping that the consciousness is changing in that way, because I know some of the concerns were that people would be afraid of an invasion. You know, that's not what the good guys want, but they have to figure out how to isolate the regressive aliens that are already here and kind of bottle them up so they can stay out of the way and they can be removed completely from Earth. And, you know, there's a lot of talk about alien bases being blown up and shut down. I know that some of that is true. I also know that some of the bases are being blown up by the bad guys themselves because they don't want the good guys to have it, to use it as an operative stage or platform. You know, so there's tons. There's just so much to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And here comes to my mind some question that because something I have heard before. There was a guy on the internet presented by Alfred Webre talking about the Andromeda Council. I know that you perhaps talked about it already on the Robert Stanley program, but there's a lot of people, including me, who like to know about this guy called Tolek, who asks that he's a member of Andromedan Council, and he has told that there has been some intervention from the Andromedan Council in some Earth's matter. Even he told that there has been a destruction of underground facilities of the shadow government, and it was because this intervention of the Andromedans. I have to add that there is also an interview of Benjamin Fulford who talk about the destruction of underground facilities also, and I think that this was the first time that I listened to Benjamin Fulford saying that there was an intervention, an ET intervention on this matter. I reviewed some information about this guy called Tolek, and it's a resemblance on the information provided by Sheldon Needle. Who is this group of Andromedans that Tolek is talking about?
Well, that's really a question for him. In my brief conversations with Tolek, and I really do not know him, so I can't speak for him. He has made reference to his context being fourth density. Mornay Theseus, Mornay Theseus crossed over. It's fifth density. But I honestly can't answer that question. I don't know who they are.
Okay.
I don't know who they are. So I would just suggest everybody use their own intuition. You know, and listening to any information from anybody, from all of us, that, you know, people trust their intuition, you know, your own inner higher guidance, which of course we all have. You know, I want to point something out that Mornay Theseus had said many years ago, and that was that many people have come back to this time to right a terrible wrong. Okay? And what that means is, many of us have been here before, we've gone through this process, it maybe didn't go so well, and I don't know the reasons why, but we've agreed to come back to do it differently. I would suggest time travel. I would also suggest reincarnation. Okay? And if that statement is true, and this scenario is true, then we're doing this again to make sure it has a real good outcome for everyone, then your higher self already knows the answers.
Right.
And it's just a question the things that Zeus once said was that the worshipping of the isness, which we would call God, is the creation of self.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so that's what this is all about. If we're going through this, and you know, nobody knows exactly how this thing is going to turn out. I mean, there are no guarantees. But this is, you know, this is an incredibly unique situation for Earth. To my knowledge, none of our forefathers ever on this planet have gone through what we're about to go through. So, it's going to be interesting. You know, take as many pictures as you can. It's going to be really interesting. You know, 1,000, 5,000 years from now, you know, when our future generations look back at us, you know, and they look at us as forefathers, you know, they will be looking back at us as forefathers of a new Earth, a new generation, a new humanity. It's going to be amazing if it can be grasped correctly. So that's what I have to say on that.
Okay, that's fine. Talking about Morine and Visayus, I heard that you said that Morine has passed away.
No,
Visayus
crossed over in their physicality back in 1999.
Okay, so are you still in contact with the Morine?
Uh-huh. It's been a while, though. It's been a while since I've heard.
Okay, and physical contact or telepathic?
Both.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's very good to know that you still have that kind of contact of the. You know, I am translating the letters from Andromeda. Some kind of issues that I don't know if it was you or other people, because I read that there was a kind of editor of that newsletters, and I am translating that, and God, they are just very exciting. It's very nice information there.
Well, thank you for doing that, and I'm glad that you find value in it. That makes me very happy.
Well, actually, I know that there will be a lot of people who can find a lot of value on that information, because there's something that you said a few minutes ago that was the worship of isness. The worship
of the isness
is the creation of self.
self.
That just was very astonishing to me, because it's something like it's the same in different words, but it's the same. Ramtha says the same thing.
Oh, is that true? That's great.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Well, I think that there has a lot of things that we have to talk about. I want to just put some order on my mind, on my ideas, because I have a lot of things to ask you. I would like to go to another question. So, well, here I go. I heard you once talking about Jehovah a lot of years ago, I think, in one conference that you gave, and you said that he was coming back to Earth or solar system, and some people are relating this to the return of Marduk or Enlil. Are we talking about the same entity, or how much relevance has the presence of Jehovah here again?
Okay, Jehovah and Marduk, aka Ra, they are not the same person.
Okay.
Thank God.
Okay.
And I was told that many, many years ago. I actually wonder if that's actually still going to happen. I mean, there's been there's so many changes, and things are so constantly changing that I wonder. I wonder if that's still true. I at the moment, I honestly don't know if that is still a possibility. So that would be interesting to know, don't you think?
Okay, that's good.
If I get anything on that, I will certainly push that forward to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, that's right.
But Jehovah was this, is actually one of the names for Enlil. Enlil was the son of Anu, who was the king, the god, the lord of the Anunnaki race. Marduk, Ra, is the son of Enki. Enki was married into the Anu family. It was an arranged marriage, what I understand. And he and Enki and Enlil were meant to share power and do some things, not only here, but in other worlds. And they had a lot of trouble getting along with each other for many, many different reasons. And at some point, Marduk, Ra, got very upset with the way his father and his family, including him, were all being treated. So he rebelled. And I am sure that if we knew the full extent of what was going on, we probably would, to some degree, side with him. Because, it's been said, not only of America, but of our planet in general, they can rule. It's interesting. They're an original race. They want to rule themselves, but no one really knows how to rule them. Being us, So I think that's valid. I think that's very valid. And I think what's happened is we've been so disempowered that it's made it easier, but we're always restless, We really, none of us want to be told what to do. And so it'll be interesting to see how we do embrace our freedom. When it comes, it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out.
Okay, that's fine. Well, talking about that family who are known as the Anunnaki by a lot of researchers, I really believe that there's some sort of true when a lot of people is telling us that Nibiru is closing to the Earth. Is that right?
It's out there. It's definitely out there.
Okay.
I can't give you miles per hour, but it's definitely out there.
So,
at some point, we will see it.
Really?
Yeah, at some point we will.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's something that I shared with Michael Sala many years ago. Where we are at this point is one of the biggest concerns that the A's had regarding Earth was when we crossed the asteroid, when we crossed the galactic plane. Now that's what this plasma cloud is. We have this perception that the Earth and the planets rotate around the sun, and that we're kind of stationary, but in reality we're not. We are constantly moving. Our solar system is constantly moving around our sun as our sun is moving. And what's coming up here is that we're going to be crossing. We are now north of the galactic plane. If you were to look at the galaxy, you would see that it has a north and a south, and in the middle is the disk shape of light and stars and planets and debris. When we're north of that, we're about to pass through in the next year or two through that plane. And there is a lot of changes that come with that. That's also where the plasma is, because stars are electric. Now we have nuclear power and just gas. That no longer holds any water. Everything is based on electricity or electrical plasma. How that all works, we don't know yet, at least us on Earth. But what their concern was, the passing through the galactic plane. One of the things they had been talking about with the Andromeda Council was putting bodies in front of us and basically plowing the road, clearing everything out of the way of debris. You understand?
Yeah.
I hope that is in fact happening. I expect that we will be seeing some of that relatively soon. And we will be seeing things in the sky as they start plowing the road ahead of us.
Oof. Oof, that's very, I don't know, that's very interesting. I think that we are already seeing things, very, very strange things. And actually, sorry, I don't know if you have heard about the home.
Being around the planet?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
What is your opinion about that?
What's my take on it?
Yeah.
I think it's Earth's home. Myself, I think it's Earth's home. I mean, the Earth is a living entity, and she is being hit with all of this cosmic radiation, plasma radiation, gamma rays. Even though we don't hear it, all of that has a vibration to it.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you've ever listened to some of the early NASA tapes where they were able to record the sounds of the planets, to me it's the same thing. I think what we're hearing is Earth's song. The Earth is communicating back to the cosmos.
Okay.
And it could be that it's communicating through different parts of the planet. Now what's interesting is that the sounds are similar, but they're not exact, but they're similar. There are some octaves that are exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My question is, or what I'm trying to say is that if we were using much more sophisticated listening equipment, we would probably be hearing other sounds in that transmission that the human ear cannot pick up.
Yeah, right.
Okay? I don't believe it's harp. I don't believe that it's that at all. I truly believe that it's Earth song, that the Earth is communicating back.
Yeah.
And what we hear is only what our ears are allowed to hear because of our hearing range.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's good that you clear this answer, because there are a lot of people talking about actually harp. You talk about it, and all other people are saying that perhaps are elf waves, the low waves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was my opinion. This is what I think it is.
Okay. And actually,
Clear it up. I mean, everybody has to make up their own decision. But again, that's where you go inside and you ask your intuition. That's what I think it is. I believe it's Earth song. I believe the Earth is not only communicating. She may not be communicating directly to us, but I believe she's communicating back to the cosmos. I mean, everything's alive. Everything works in a synchronicity. There's communication constantly going on in nature, and it's not always words. There are an infinite amount of ways to communicate with other living things.
Yeah, right.
We're only now paying attention to the Earth, and she's like, well, look, I'm pretty evolved. She's saying, I'm pretty evolved. Look at this incredible ecosystem that I have for you and all the other living beings on this planet to live. I manage that. I maintain it. And I'm going through all these changes, and I'm still managing all this. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Okay, that's good. Well, I would like to make a pause here, so you can take some water if you want.
Okay, there's water with me right here.
Okay, and the other thing that I want to do here is I let me hang up the call, and I will call you again, because I think there's some kind of creepy sounds on the phone, and it's because I'm calling you from my cell phone. So I will call you from my home, and I will put the speaker on, and I want.
That's fine.
Okay. Let me do this as quickly as I can. Okay, bye. And I think that it's a big honor to all the people that are listening to this right now, and the people that are going to listen later when this conversation will be translated on Spanish. So then I want to continue this conversation with a question regarding there was a Japanese princess who, I don't know if you have if you are knowledge about it, that there's a Japanese princess who talk about the 3 days of darkness for this at the end of this year. Have you heard about something about her?
Well, I know Audra and I had the opportunity to meet her for a moment when we were in Japan a couple of years back. I have heard some information regarding that, about the 3 days of darkness, and I believe even the Book of Revelations talks about it.
Yeah.
My understanding, or in my perspective, this would occur only in one of two ways.
Mm-hmm.
That is, if the dwarf star of which the Anunnaki planets rotate around was to come between us and the sun, then it would literally blot out the sun for a period of time as it passes through. Okay? The other is that if we have a magnetic pole shift between now and the end of the year, it has been said or theorized that the Earth stops spinning on its axis during that process. Okay? It literally stops spinning, so that one half of the planet would be in darkness until the Earth began to spin again.
Whoa.
Opposite direction.
Wow.
Those are the only two scenarios where I see that happening. I don't honestly think it's going to happen between now and the end of the year. I think it's going to be closer to the fall of 2013. That's my own opinion.
Okay. Okay.
But anything's possible. I mean, it feels like time has been sped up. I don't really think we're on a schedule of time at all. In my opinion, that everything is event-based. When one event happens, then it leads to the next, and to the next. There's no time. We're not really dealing with the factor of time anymore. It's events, which are all based on consciousness.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Well, I actually wonder what is going on. What will going on with the this thing called gravity, with the gravity.
Well, this happens. I mean, the geological record clearly shows changes in the magnetic field. They show it flipping.
Mm-hmm.
And, the sun goes through this as well. I think every 8 to 12 years, it can experience a magnetic pole shift. It's just, my understanding is that when this occurs, it's realigning itself to the cosmos, to energies that it's receiving.
Okay.
Because everything's energy. It's all energy. And it's realigning itself in preparation for or to engage a different type of energy. I believe that this is going to be a positive thing.
Yeah.
It may not appear to be in the short term because a lot of our technology won't work. But in the long term, I believe it's a very positive thing. And we should be able to survive it. It shouldn't be an issue. Our forefathers have. Magnetic pole shift has occurred. I think the geological record shows at least 8 magnetic pole shifts in the geological record. And our species is still here, and, so I think we're okay. It's just change. We just don't understand the big picture. That's why we're all grasping, and some are panicking, and some are getting really nervous, and, many are they're going into fear, and others are, the mainstream is trying to promote fear. It's because we don't understand the big picture, and, that's where we need the help. We definitely need the big picture, so we can put all these events in place so that we understand the process. Like building a house. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
You have a blueprint, and then you follow it, and in the end, it's done. We just don't have a blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
The information, I think, does exist. It's just being withheld from us.
Yeah, that's right.
And, of course, that sucks. So...
Yes, because it's that's something that doesn't seem to be go.
Well, everything seems like it's upside down, and it is. I mean, it is upside down. But once we have a grasp of the changes, and this is why, Carlos, I suggested this video of this young woman, Susan Joy Renison. I think to you and your listeners, she's done some remarkable work in putting some things together.
Could you repeat?
I'm sure that many of your listeners who are mystics and shamans and psychics, they will have many, many aha moments.
Okay. Could you repeat her name, please?
Susan,
Uh-huh.
Susan, Joy, second word, Joy, Renison, Renison.
Okay. Yeah.
And she's dark skinned, and she's English. A very lovely person. You can clearly tell that from her lecture and her disposition. Just a beautiful soul. She really puts a lot of things together, and she gives her opinion, but what she gives you is the science. She gives you the science. She gives you the sources, the news articles, the everything. I mean, this is really, really happening. There's just no question that this is happening.
Okay.
And, she brings a big piece of the puzzle together, which is great. And I think it will really help everyone.
Okay, good.
Which is why I'm bringing it to your attention.
Yeah, actually, I have.
None of us have all the answers. None of us have all the answers. We all have a piece of the puzzle. And the idea is, we're looking to put our piece somewhere to make it fit, so that once it does, then we have all the other pieces. And that's really what it's all about.
Sure, I know. Actually, I have found the website. It's Susan Renison. www.susanrenison.com for the people who is listening this. So, yeah, I will read her information.
On the left-hand side, you will see two boxes. The second box says a lecture, January 2011, 3 hours. You see that?
Yeah. Turning the diamonds. January. Presentation, Def Technical University, the Netherlands on Monday.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
That's it. That's the one. So maybe you can put a link on your website for everyone.
Yeah, sure, I will.
Absolutely wonderful information. It's a must-view. In my opinion, it's a must-view.
Okay.
Well, all people put their pieces together. It's good stuff.
Okay, great. That's fine. So then, let's talk about the ascension. I think that you have said some things related to that. That that this year is too important because of a lot of people are talking about the Mayan calendar and all that stuff and the celestial events that are about to happen. You already talked about that. But I remember that the Andromedans state that the real ascension or change will be on 2013.
Right.
It is not this year, right?
That's correct.
And
no information to the contrary to that.
Okay. And what's your perspective?
But that doesn't mean, that doesn't mean there's not going to be a lot of change. I mean, let me just explain this if I can. Let us pretend for a moment.
Okay.
Let us assume for a moment that we're on third density.
Mm-hmm.
And on the news, they tell us that a previously unknown civilization that was living in a dimension invisible to us, in second density, is going to be coming into our reality, near us.
Okay.
We don't know anything about them, really. We just find out that this physicality, this second dimensional physicality, is now moving into third density, and it will be interacting with all of us.
Yeah.
You would want to know about it. We would want to know who they are, what are their belief systems, what are their values, what are their principles, what kind of technology do they use, what are their intentions, do they have families? We want to know everything, as much as we could. Okay?
Yeah.
So when that came, so that there could be a bonding, a building of communication, of language, so we could communicate with them and also basically mentor them. Okay, you are now in a completely different reality. We do things different here. Okay?
Yeah.
And we want to help you know what that's about. Okay, so that you can make this transition peacefully. Okay?
Yeah.
And responsibly and maturely. Well, it's no different with us here in third moving through fourth into fifth. It's absolutely no different. They're going to be doing the exact same thing to us that we would probably do to other species if they were coming into our reality.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that this ascension is totally being managed. Okay?
Okay.
It's totally being managed. They're just not going to throw us in there and say, there you go, good luck.
Yeah.
It's going to happen like that, you know? Because what we do will affect them, and what they do will affect us. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, there has actually been some mentoring. It just hasn't been overt yet.
Mm-hmm.
It has been happening.
Yeah, right.
And, you know,
And that will be my next question, but you already answered it. But if you know something about how are going to be the cross of the quantum border to the new level.
there'll be mentoring. There will have to be some mentoring. There'll have to be some preparation. You know, we are the ones who are going to have to make the biggest change, quite frankly. You know, we're going to have to drop most of our old belief systems that no longer serve us. We're going to have to drop our egos, which no longer serve us. We're going to have to let go of our guilt, our past, so that we can move on. We're going to have to let go of hate and all those belief systems that are not for our higher purpose.
Yeah.
That's going to be different because so many people, all of us, I guess, in some way, we've all invested in these thought patterns because that's what we were taught. We were conditioned. Well, we're going to have to be unconditioned so that we can accept a new reality, which truly gives us more freedom. And, you know, I believe it was Don Juan who said to Carlos Castaneda, and I believe this has been said even in the Star Wars movies, you have to unlearn what you've learned.
Sure.
And that's going to be real interesting because we've all invested so much into what we think is real, and when we find out it isn't, there's going to be a real interesting process of letting go of all that.
Yeah.
So, and of course, it's going to be tricky, and it's going to be for many hard to accept something else that we don't know. You know, to operate totally on faith into something that we just don't know. You know, like you're born, you stay at home with mom all the time, and then one day she takes you to kindergarten, and you're on your own. You know, she leaves you there. Some children have a very hard time with that because it's too new, it's too foreign, and gradually, you know, that child accepts it, moves into it, becomes familiar, and at one point, just jumps out of the car and walks right in the classroom, doesn't even look back at the mom and says, oh, I'm good. You know, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Here I am. And that's the process that's going to be with us. It's kind of like we're going to, as advanced as we think we are literally going to be going back into kindergarten.
Okay.
So I'm trying to give analogies what this process is like, but it's hard because we don't have any of those references yet here.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's next?
Okay, thanks. So then let's talk about. I have received an email from Audra a few days ago. He asked me for translate a website called Saint Mountain Publishing or something. I don't remember. Actually, it was regarding the new book that you are about to publish, right?
Oh, Captain Dinar.
Yeah, The Adventures of Captain Lunar. Yes.
Right.
I remember that you said before that you were going to rewrite the Defending the Sacred Ground book.
Well, yes, I you know the story about the first one? I'll tell you the story of the first one again if I hadn't shared it with you. Way back when, back in the early 90s, I think it was 91 or 92, someone had approached us and said, look, I want to help you guys out. We'd like permission to take these videotapes and transcribe them for you.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, that would be great, because I was working, a full-time and a part-time job, starting a family, etc. So we're like, great. And months went by, and I received an email from a nurse in North Carolina. And she said, I would prefer to buy your book from you instead of from this other source. And I wrote her back, and I said, well, there is no book.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent me a link to the Leading Edge webpage about Valerian. And he had done the transcribing and compiled this information into something, and he was selling it, and we didn't even know.
Okay.
So that's why it's up there. The information is good. Some of it's very outdated. The book was edited, in my opinion, terribly because so much information was left out of it that didn't fit his paradigm.
Yeah.
Okay. What I want to do is I want to not only rewrite it, but I also want to involve the 22 ET races.
Yeah, you talked about before.
Yes, and so I want to put the two together. It's just very difficult to focus on that when every day is survival.
Yeah.
So, but I will definitely get to it, and when I do, it'll be posted, it'll be up there. Anybody can have access to it.
Sure.
So,
And could you tell us something about the Adventures of Captain Leonard?
The Adventures of Captain Dinar. What I've done, Carlos, if I had to do this over again, I would have done it very differently. What I would have done is that I would have taken all this information and put it in fictional form.
Yeah.
And then put it out there. Because then it probably would have spared me so much grief. And that's what I've started to do with Captain Dinar. There is tons of Andromedan information in it, some that I have already publicly shared, and some that I haven't is in this. And I've written it for young adults and adults. And it's in the form of a science fiction. But the events, the events that happen to them are actual events that are historical or of a historical record to the Andromedan human people.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't put them in a chronological order because that's simply not possible. Because, the book would have to be a span of 1 million years. And I'm just not that good of a writer, frankly.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, and I'm working on it. We're in the editing process, in fact, and I'm really, really excited about it. It's going to be a trilogy.
Whoa.
There are 3 books, and Captain Dinar is the hero of book 1. Book 2, he's also obviously involved. But several other characters come in, one being a woman who has been sheltered, and she moves into a place where she reclaims her power. She, becomes a force for good, and she does remarkable things to unite many races. And it's much of what the Ace of told me is going to be in this trilogy in a story form. I'm actually pretty excited about it. I probably should have done this years ago.
Okay.
But I'm really excited about it, and I think people will really, really like it.
Yeah, I think so.
It moves really quick. So, it's been fun. It's been really fun.
Okay, that's good. That's really good. So, I wonder if you have some plans for the next month. I know I understand that what you said at the beginning of this conversation, that you still have some kind of troubles. So.
Well, I keep looking for work. I hope that I will get an opportunity to find some work in a situation, and I keep pursuing that. Or other opportunities present themselves. I'm constantly working it. So, people, your audience, I'm sure they know. One day you go to work and the company's not there anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
It happens, and everything's upside down, and you're scrambling, trying to make things work, and trying to figure out what to do. And it's no different here. There's a lot of people out of work in the United States right now. A lot.
Oof.
And, so that's kind of where it's at. So, what are some of the questions that you're getting from your people?
Okay. Okay, well.
Listeners, are there questions we can
before to get on that, did you receive the letters from the people that write to you? I sent an email to Audra, and I don't know if she forwarded it to you.
Oh, you mean the email you sent me?
Yeah.
You could never open it. And she sent you an email back telling you that you couldn't open it.
That's.
We were hoping that you could cut and paste that into an email, and then I would have had the questions, but I don't have the questions because we couldn't open either of your attachments.
Well, but I actually reply her an email where I copy the letters from the people who write to me in order to give you thanks for every single moment that you put on of your life to do all this job that you have done all these years.
I received many of those letters, emails through the project that Robert started. I received many of those, and I have to tell you, quite honestly, I was overwhelmed. I was amazed. Carlos, when I started this, there was the internet was in its infancy. I think the only thing we all had was some form of, email. That was it. Pretty much there was nothing else. And, I was never in this, the A's were like, don't ever make this a business, so I didn't. I basically just did the talks, did the lectures, and just let go, of it. And just let it go. And I had no idea. I simply had no idea that it had touched so many people.
Yeah, it did.
I was blown away, quite frankly. Absolutely blown away.
Yeah, I
did so.
There are a lot of people that has the same situation as I had a few years ago when I watched the first interview that Rick Keefe did to you. The same thing that they explain is that in some way, when the first time that they watched you, it was like some kind of strange connection, and it was amazing because it is like if almost not all, but almost a lot of questions has an answer. And watching that interview, it was a real change to me, and for a lot of people that start to follow me on my website, because I shared all that interviews, and I have told you that I have translated almost all the video conferences and all the interviews. There were a couple of friends in Chile that helped me to translate the last conference on Hawaii and Earth Transformation Conference. So you have to know that there is a lot of people really, really thankful for all the things that you have done all these years. And actually, as I told you once, when it was to Audra, that actually I consider you and Audra my friends in some way, and I consider you some kind of mentor because I've learned a lot from you, a lot of things, and after that I found the videos, the information, the book, all that stuff that you provided to the world. I started to walk my own path, and I started to open my eyes to a different reality, and I started to have my own experiences with some entities, and all the things that I have happened, that I have had on my life, that those things that happened in my life were really amazing, and have confirmed every single part that you have exposed to the world. So I think that I take this I take this time to thank you again in the name of all the people that is listening, that are listening this broadcasting, and that will listen this conversation later. I know that they are also really thankful for everything that you have done. And the reason that I asked you at the first time that if you were right, and you said that you weren't right, that you actually have some troubles, is because all the people that know your work share that feeling that you have in some way. And if we know that you have some troubles, we all want to help, and I think that we will. It's for sure that I will. But I know that there will be a lot of people at my back that will help you with the situation that you have. So
and I I'm humbled that you would consider me a mentor. I don't see myself that way at all. I just see myself as a guy having an extraordinary experience, and who, I wanted to share the information because a lot of it has made me very, very angry and frustrated.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, especially the last 2 years, they've been really, really difficult. And this last year's been really interesting. And I started questioning, what was this all for? What was it all for? I mean, am I just a complete idiot for having done this? And when I started getting emails from people, I have to honestly tell you, there were moments where I would just sob. I would just cry and sob because I had no idea.
Yeah.
Honestly, had no idea. I put it out there and I just let it go. And try to build a life, something, earth life, because who knows what's going to happen. And, some things went well, some things didn't. There's been a lot of really, really tough lessons, and a lot of mistakes, a lot of regrets. But I'm glad that the information found its way to wherever it was meant to go. And I just want to tell people, I delivered the information, but it isn't mine, and I don't own it. It's ours, and it's theirs.
Yeah.
I just delivered the information. I'm just the postman. I'm just the postman. Delivering the mail. And to thank you, to everyone, for honoring me the way you have. I'm so humbled. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're very, very welcome. So, well, let's give the opportunity to people to give some answers, to make some answers. Sorry, to make some questions. And I will pause the transmission here and just give me a couple minutes. I will tell them that they can't call me by Skype. So give me a second, please. Bien, bueno, estamos casi a la mitad, bueno, un poco más de la mitad de la entrevista con el señor Alex Collier. Para las personas que quieran participar por Skype, por favor, hagan su llamada ahora mismo. Si es que quieren estar en línea, o pueden escribir su pregunta, pero si quieren tener una conversación, de ser posible, con el señor Alex Collier, hagan su llamada en estos momentos. En estos momentos. Okay.
I talk still?
Yeah. I'm here. Yes, I'm waiting for some call.
Okay.
I think that there's people a little bit shy
Well, that's okay.
because they are writing the questions. They are not calling.
Are we still on the air?
Yeah. We're on here.
Audra just gave me the letters. She just printed them out for me. And I wanted to thank Maria Tedesco from Argentina.
Yeah, Maria.
I wanted to thank Alyssa Vidal Torres.
Yeah.
Nidia Levy from Uruguay.
Mm-hmm.
Paulina from Chile, or Toro, R2D2 in Mexico. Thank you so much for your letters. I have them here in my hand. Muchas gracias.
Yeah. Well, there's a question on the chat, and it's Mauricio. He doesn't say his name. I think that there's people who don't want to go on air because perhaps I don't know why, but well, I will read the question, and it says, "Thank you, Alex, for all things that you have done. This is a big question. What do you know about that our brothers from space are now preparing the second coming of Jesus to Earth?"
I don't know anything about that. My understanding is that the second coming is us, actually. It's us embracing our Christ himself. I don't know anything about
Okay.
About Jesus, when in fact that's going to occur. I don't know.
Okay. Well, here's another one. He's asking about the 3 days of darkness. You already answered that question. Give me a second. I'm searching on another answers. But, when I ask the people that to write some question to you, I don't know if they have already read the Defending the Second Ground book, because almost all the information is there, and they ask a lot of the same things. But
okay, that's okay.
Okay, well.
Okay, if they took the time to email a question, and let's honor them by answering. So let's go for it.
Okay, here's a good friend of me. He's from Peru. His name is Jimmy, and he writes, "What about the strange sounds in the world that remember the movie The War of the World? Are these natural? Thank you, Alex, and greetings from Peru." I think that you have talk about that.
We did. And are they natural? I don't know. I believe that in the historical record, even the Bible and some of the texts, the Egyptian texts, the Sumerian texts, the Chinese texts, the Mayan texts, there are times where they talk about the earth groaning. Is it natural? I don't know, but something is clearly going on.
Yeah.
And, we'll find out. We will all find out together what's really going on here. The earth is alive, and therefore she has a way of communicating. And this just, in my opinion, it makes logical sense that she's trying to communicate.
Okay.
So.
Okay, thanks. There's another question. Rodrigo Gallardo. He didn't say his nationality, but he writes, "Please, I came later. Could you repeat what about the 3 days of darkness? And if you know something regarding the air crossing to the photon belt."
Okay. Many people have asked me over the years about a photon belt.
Yeah.
They've never ever referred to anything as a photon belt. They have talked about the galactic plane, and we mentioned that earlier. I know that there's been a lot of talk about the 3 days of darkness. Will it occur? I don't know. In my opinion, there's only several ways that actually could occur. For example, something would have to be blocking us from the sun. The sun doesn't go out for 3 days. Okay? It's not going to turn off and then turn back on. That's not its nature. So we can rule that out. So if we're in darkness, something has to pass between us and the sun that is so big that it blots out the sun. The only thing that I'm aware of that would do that is the dwarf star that is apparently associated with passing our solar system of the Anunnaki,
Yeah.
okay, of the Viru. The only other thing that I'm aware of that occurs is that when we go through a magnetic pole shift and the poles realign in the opposite direction of where they are now, the Earth stops rotating for a time period. And when it begins to rotate, it goes in the opposite direction of what it is doing now. Those 3 days, if it is 3 days, where it stops before it restarts, one side of the planet would be in darkness. Now, what happens to the side that's facing the sun? I don't know. I hope that's not us. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have those answers. But those are the only two scenarios that make any sense to me. That would involve 3 days of darkness.
Yeah. Okay, then thank you. There's another question from Gilberto Garcia who said, how can we help people who are very attached to the religion and don't want to believe any of these things that you have told to us?
You know, I've wrestled with that myself many, many years. And here's the perspective that I've come to with that. The fact that people are religious is not a bad thing. Okay? I think we should always support anyone's spirituality and embracing the Creator. Okay? If they are embracing and talking to the Creator themselves, I would always support that. What I don't support is the dogma.
Yeah.
That this is the only way. That ours is the only way. I don't believe that the Creator would ever limit itself to just one road. I believe that mankind has created all of this disharmony as a means of control. To answer your question, I would say continue to support them in praying and honoring the Creator, God, Christ, whoever, okay? But just ignore the dogma. At some point, they will outgrow it. They will see through it. Because so many of us already have. And more people are awakening every day. They're seeing the dogma is just that. You know, a lot of bullshit. So, just continue to support them. Everybody has their own path.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own timeline or moment of awakening, however that happens for each of us. The fact that, we can actually have this conversation means we've already had our moment of awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And all we can do is just be an example for everybody else. That's all we can do. We can't force anyone to do anything they're not ready to do. Because we wouldn't want it, right? We'd fight tooth and nail, we'd kick and scream. If somebody tries to force us to do something. So, we just have to honor their path that they're on and be supportive. And when their veil comes down and they start questioning all the dogma, just be there for them. Give them the answers. Give them your perspective. Let them know what you know. And, that's all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. Oof. We have here Hector Diaz, and he says, I would like to ask Mr. Collier, where is home now? Where will my kind go to live after Earth is unhabitable? Will our brothers from space provide us a home closer to their neighborhood, or it is a tour job to find it?
Read it one more time for me.
Well, I think here's a mistake here. Yeah.
Abbreviate it for me.
Yeah. Well, this he tried to ask a question regarding if the girl is going to be unhabitable from on the next years, perhaps. Will our brothers from the space are going to provide us a home closer to their neighborhood?
Okay. Well, I don't know why would it be uninhabitable. I don't know that that's actually true.
Yeah.
If it is going to be uninhabitable, yes, I would think that there would be assistance in some way, some shape or form. It is very possible that they could create they could take a very large mothership and on the inside create an E environment, an Earth environment, where we could, be and ride out this transition. Could also be that there are planets that have been terraformed in order to assist us, where they could take us and we could be for a time until the Earth is habitable, if that's even a fact. I don't know that the Earth is not going to be inhabitable.
Okay.
Okay, I actually think it will be. I just think that the geological land of the Earth is going to go through tremendous change.
Sure.
And I trust that many of us, most of us, will be exactly where we need to be throughout those changes.
Okay. That's good. Thanks. Here's another one, Maximiliano Aguaisol, asking, what do you know about the Jesuit order in relation with the alien agenda?
Ooh, you gotta read that one more time.
What do you know about the Jesuit order in relation with the alien agenda?
Jesuit order?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure who the Jesuits were.
Sure.
I'm not sure that I know.
Okay.
I don't know if that their relation, what their relationship is to the terrestrial life.
Okay.
Positive or benign, I don't know.
Fine.
Regressive, I don't know.
There's there was he's calling someone, Alexander Ransom. Okay. Hello? Hello? Could you speak louder, please?
Very thankful for you. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Certainly I can go. My best regards and thankfulness for Mr. Collier, and to you, Shiny Demise, for the interview as well.
No, you're welcome.
Mr. Collier, any recommendations for the spiritual awakening?
Well, that's a big question. That's a huge question. Could you be more specific in any way?
Yeah, Alexander. He said that if you could be more specific.
Anyway.
Well, certainly. Actually, everyone is going through a process one way or the other and starting to realize that something is going on. Any recommendations for the process for what will they do to help themselves and others simultaneously? A way of life, a way of loving each other. Any books you can recommend? I know it's quite impossible to make a manual without many issues, but at least, some guidance in where we can go and what information we may consider as reliable or not.
Well, that's a $64,000 question, caller. That really is. And I grapple with that issue every day. When I hear a piece of news or someone sends me an article or I hear something on Project Camelot or Project Avalon or any of the other alternative information outlets, what level of truth is it? And people question me all the time with the same thing. How accurate is your information? This is why in the earlier in the call I stressed listening to one's intuition. That, there's no magic pill, there's no magic bullet. Everybody is so different in their psychology as to how they view the world and their perspective. And everyone interprets truth differently. It's a very difficult question to answer because everyone's view is different and everyone's level of commitment to the truth and to their spiritualness is different. I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest with you.
Well, you give us a lot to think. I think that's a lot, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for taking the time to call.
Thank you, Alexander.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too, right. Bye. Okay, here's another reading question. It's from someone called Tulkas MX7. I don't know what is that, but well. It says, the Twin Grail spacecraft that NASA sent to the moon will prove why there are different levels of gravity in the moon. Alex mentioned in Defending the Sacred Ground that gravity is created by frequencies that the sun sends. So because the moon have metal core and it's hollow, what do you think NASA will say about the results and what else the Grail spacecraft want to get about the moon?
I don't think NASA's going to say anything. I don't think they're going to. I think they're just going to put that information out and just say, that's a study we no longer deal with. I don't think they're going to say anything. I think they want to know that, let's face it, the minute the spacecraft takes off, they're in damage control mode. And it's been like that since day one.
Okay.
I don't think they're ever really going to address it unless they're forced to. And at this point, I can't imagine who's going to force them to do it. When extraterrestrials land, NASA's out of the picture completely at this point. Because now we're talking to the professors, We're talking to the people, the beings, the races who are out there who really know, who are experiencing it every single day. And we're going to want to talk to them. We're not going to want to talk to NASA. So I don't believe they're going to say anything. But, it just points out, when these things do get out, just how wrong they've been about so much. The question is, were they wrong on purpose, or were they just literally wrong? That's the question. If it was done on purpose, that leads to a whole other scenario of questions. Why would you mislead? Why were you dishonest? Why were you taking all this money, doing all these ridiculous things when you knew this? Or you knew this truth? Or you knew that? And that's where you start peeling back the layers of corruption. And, that's a very painful process for all of us because of what it involves.
Yeah.
That's the only answer I have,
Okay.
Great question, though. That was a great question.
Okay, thank you. Well, here's another question from Hector Diaz, who says, Mr. Alex, are you agree with the theory from Mr. Sixto Paz, who is another contactee, who says that the Earth was rescued from self-destruction once in a different timeline, and since then it was created an alternative timeline that will synchronize with the real timeline on December 21st on this year. Have you been told something about this?
Well, I know that multiple timelines have been created.
Yeah.
By various groups and entities, present and past. Do I have an actual hard date where they're all supposed to come into line in synchronicity? No, I don't. And I wouldn't hold to a timeline either, because I think everything is event-based at this point. I know people want a date because we're so conditioned for time to see things as time. Aging is a matter of time, et cetera, et cetera. We've been so conditioned for that.
Yeah.
I honestly think that it could happen very quickly, or it can happen gradually. I think if it happens quickly, there's going to be a sudden shock. There's going to be a lot of shock.
Yeah.
I think at this point, with the Earth going through everything she's going through, with entering the plasma cloud, with crossing the galactic plane, with dealing with the sun's radiation, dealing with a magnetic pole shift in the works, with our unveiling of consciousness, with our lifting of our consciousness, with the truth about the corruption of governments and many religions coming out. I would think that this would be gradual. We have a lot on our plate already as a humanity. We really do.
Yeah.
We're getting in from all sides. I would think that it would be gradual, and that's what I see. I probably would think anytime between now, I would say probably 2013, well into 2013, that we would see a synchronization of timelines. I don't know that we could bite off any more than we already have on our plate.
Mm-hmm.
I would think they would stretch it out a little bit longer. So we can continuously acclimate to changes. We don't want to become completely overwhelmed if we can't deal with our own reality.
Yeah.
That serves no purpose to anybody.
Okay. Thank you. Here's another one question. It's from Gabriel Alfonso. Mr. Alex, could you please tell us if the reptilians will leave this planet anytime soon?
Yes. Yes, some have already. The rest will be leaving soon. Yes. They cannot stay.
Okay.
They cannot stay.
Actually, I remember this guy called Tolek talking about that and with Alfred Webre that they say that the Greys were kicked out from the Earth a few months ago. Is that right?
I heard that as well. I don't have confirmation of that.
Okay. Okay.
If it's true, that's great news. There's still some janitorial work to be done. We need the cosmic street sweepers to come through one more time and really clean house.
Sure.
So, The reptilians can't stay. They can't stay.
Okay.
The antithesis of what it is we are. So they have to.
Okay. Well, this is another one. I will read a question from an email who sent someone. Miriam Lackey. It says, "Thank you, Alex, for this opportunity. My question. I hope that my question will be selected for will be given to you. My question. Sorry, man. My question is this one. Reincarnation. The reincarnation is a process created by God. It is absolutely necessary. And if it does, what is the purpose to die and to take another body again, over and over again? Have the Andromedans told you about the reincarnation?"
Yes. That is a huge philosophical question. And what I will do at this point is I will only relate my own personal experience
Okay.
about this fact. Okay? So as to not offend anyone, this is my own personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
In my personal experience, when I was first taken on board when I was a young boy at 8 years old, I was put on a table and they put this type of a hat on top of my head, which was similar to a yarmulke, but it was some type of metallic hat. Monitors came out of the wall, and I started seeing what were like movies, film clips. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I knew when I was watching them that I was watching things. I had cellular memory, emotional memory in my body watching these things happen. The scenes. And some of them were good, where I was doing good things. Some of them were bad, where I was doing negative things. I was a warrior. Some were I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a timeline on any of those things. When it was over, it was explained to me that what they did was they had tapped into my own cellular memory to show me that there was more to me than just that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Present. At that moment. That there was more to me.
Okay.
You can't convince anybody else of anything, and I'm not going to. When I asked, well, what happens? Because, I was raised a Catholic. And as a Catholic, we're taught that when you die, if you're a sinner, you either go to hell or you go to purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's not true from what I was sharing with me. Neither of those things are true. But what does happen is that you go, your soul leaves your body, you go to a place where you review your life.
Sure.
Okay? And apparently decisions are made about you coming in, who your parents are, the lessons you want to learn. But the ultimate lesson that each of us has is to be able to live a life completely where at no point do we ever choose to withhold love.
Mm-hmm.
Where there are places where we do choose to withhold love, those are lessons we need to come back and relearn.
Sure.
That's how it was explained to me.
Okay, that's good. That's a real great answer.
You can take it or leave it with that.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's very, 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 very good explained. Well, he have another one. Rodrigo Gallardo from Miami, Florida. Alex Collier, welcome back. What do you know from now on to be connected to the cosmos and God? What the Andromedans did a long time ago to accomplish?
I'm not sure. What did
What?
the Andromedan race do to accomplish connection to Source, to God?
I will read the question once more time. What to do from now on to be connected to the cosmos and God? What the Andromedans did long time ago to be accomplished?
I see. Okay. That's a really good question.
Okay.
First, let me explain. You are already connected to the cosmos. Because it's all God. Creator. Great Spirit. Whatever name you want to use. Business. Okay? Buddha. Doesn't matter. Okay? We are really all talking about the same thing. Just have different ways of expressing. You already are connected. The fact that you are here, conscious of yourself, is proof that you are already connected to the cosmos, to all that is. What's happened is that we have become blinded to our true potential, to our true worthiness or worth as part of co-creating everything. Again, earlier when we talked about the worship of the isness is the creation of self. The praying to God, the worshiping of God, is the creation of yourself.
Yeah.
You have a relationship. That relationship always has been, always will be, never will not be. Ever will never not be. The A's came to a place where they were able to truly look at each other and honestly get, on an emotional, spiritual, physical level, they realized that they were all one soul. They were one heart. There was no war. There was no poverty. Everyone became family. They watched each other's back. They took care of each other no matter what. And once everyone got that in their race, they taught it generation after generation after generation. They never ever taught separate things once they got that. And then what they tried to do was to teach it to other races as they met them, communicated with them, mentored them. They began to teach the same thing. And what that does is that it creates what is called the law of consistency.
Yeah.
They continue to teach each generation, and each generation that gets this gets stronger and stronger and more healed to the point where they have absolute mutual respect for each other. We, on the other hand, have been taught nothing but division. The churches teach we're, one humanity, but then they totally contradict themselves by saying, well, our religion's the best religion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it falls off the cliff.
Yeah.
This is where we need measuring. We need some group to come in and say, look, guys, this is how it really is. And here's the proof. We are it. We are it. And how that's going to happen is anybody's guess at this point. But that's how they did it. They just got it. They just realized that we are literally all one. Like the old Musketeers, all for one and one for all?
Yeah.
That's it. No one's left behind. They take care of each other. They watch over each other. The children are taught everything their parents know and all the new stuff. They don't consciously create division anywhere or separation anywhere. There's no caste system. There's no classes, class systems, slavery. This group's better than that group. None of that exists at all. And hopefully we will get there. Hopefully we will get there.
Yeah.
That's how they did it. They got it. They got it a long, long, long time ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Here's another question for Gustavo, from Gustavo Suarez. He says, it's a couple of questions. Why do you think that there is another contactees, another Andromedan contactees, who have not talked yet about their contact on public? And there's another question. Is there any information from the Andromedans in if they have changed their perspective that they have from us?
Okay, well, let's deal with the first question. I'll have you read that one again.
Okay, yes.
The last one.
It's about why do the other contactees that you have talked about before?
Right. There was supposed to be 4.
Yeah. Why do they just have not talked about their contacts on public?
Okay. Well, we don't know that for a fact. Many years ago, we got a piece of mail or an email from someone in Brazil who, I believe it was Brazil, it may have been Chile. I would have to talk to John. I would have to do some research on that. But he said this man contacted us and he identified himself as one of the others in South America.
Well,
but where he was living, in the village he was living, people were afraid of him because of this. I don't know if it's still the same. It could be he doesn't want to go public because, there are risks. It's not like, they're throwing parades for you, It's not like that at all. You'd be surprised what a trigger it is to upset people, People get scared. So, and I know that there was one in Europe and one in Asia somewhere. I don't know because I don't know who they are. But I mean, if you just look at what's the ridicule and the attacks people go through that have come public, you gotta be willing to take some shots,
Yeah.
It's not like the Earth is completely enlightened. We're not there yet. It would be great if we were, then we wouldn't need us. We wouldn't need the contactees, or the channelers, or if the Earth was enlightened, we wouldn't need that. But we're still in our birthing phase here. I think we're we're in the canal. We're definitely coming to the about ready to be birthed here. Into advanced maturity, we're just not there yet. And a lot of people, there are risks. You worry about your families, you worry about your children being abused, and and with the internet, anybody can say anything about anybody, and it's there forever,
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things have been said about me, and I've been accused of horrible things which I've never done, wouldn't even consider doing. And my children can read that stuff. So there are risks. So if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't do it the way I did it either. So there you go. What was the last question? Or was that the last question?
No, the last question was if the Andromedans have changed their perspective from us, of us.
I don't think so. I mean, I think they have, if anything, they have more empathy for what we've been going through, what we have gone through. our survival instinct is very, very strong. And 90% of the planet is genuinely really, really good. Loving, family loving. We have so much potential that we would probably be shocked as to how much potential we have and how little of it we've used up until now. And the regressive groups, the dark side, they're never going to tell us our full potential because then they can't control us. So there's an amazing process going about here that as restricted as we have been, as manipulated as we've been, we continue to move forward very slowly. So we're a little behind schedule from what I understand. We need to be moving faster now, which is why we're seeing these big jumps, these leaps in awareness, because we're trying to make up some ground here. But no, I think if anything, they're more endeared to us, as other groups are as well, not just the 80s. The Pleiadians, the Jarans, the Arcturians, the Syrians, those from Procyon, certain groups of the Orion constellation, too many to name, other dimensional groups. It's just, we're unique. We are very, very unique. And I believe that no other civilization has gone the path we have. So, it's not to say we're better or worse, we're just really, really different. And I think that really intrigues them as to how different we are.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Okay, thank you. You can tell me when you want to finish the round of questions from the listeners. If you want, we can keep going on.
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Well, there's a question regarding I can't see the name. Well, he's asking for if you know the exact date that the contact will take to us. I think that the question is wrong. Well, I think that he's trying to ask that if you know the actual the date where the Andromedans and the other group will contact us.
No. They wouldn't tell me anyway. So I tell you, and then everybody would know.
Yes. Sure.
No. I'm sure that they are, think about it. If you were dealing with an opposing force, would you tell them what their plan was?
Yeah.
No, of course not. They wouldn't tell the bad guys that are here holding us hostage exactly what their plan is. No, this is a chess game. And when the opportunity is exactly right and it would benefit all of humanity, that's probably when they'll do it.
Okay.
So, no, I don't know an exact date. I mean, it could be tomorrow for all I know, or it could be a year from now. So, I don't know.
Okay, here's another question. Thank you. Here's another question, and it says, I remember Caroline Rosin talk about the last cards from the shadow government to be dropped when the time comes. She said that the first card will be the terrorist threat, the second card will be the space threat regarding meteors or any object near to Earth. Then, following that, there will be a big stress around the globe because a war threat and the falling of the world economy. which is what we can see now. And the last card will be the alien threat. This one will be used to create panic, and the world government will take advantage of it to create a global control system and dictatorship. What do you think about this?
Well, we can see all that happening, can't we?
Yeah.
We can see them trying to do all of this on multiple fronts. How successful they'll be, I don't know. I don't think they'll be successful, quite frankly, because a lot of people are hip to it. A lot of people are waking up to what's really going on. And, we have the Internet. I mean, it's amazing the information that's out there and how quickly you can get it out there.
Yeah.
People are smart. People are really a lot smarter than they have given us credit for being. And, plus we have some help. We have genuine help out there that very, very much behind the scenes is doing a lot to give us the time we need to wake up. I don't know how you can translate this into Spanish, but I really don't think the assholes are going to win.
I'm going to translate just as it says. And I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That can't be our destiny. There's just no way that's our destiny.
Yeah.
It just can't be.
Definitely.
None of us want that. So it just can't happen.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. And here's another one. Again, tokens from Mexico. Alex, can you talk us a little about the karma that the Pleiadians have with the Earth?
Sure. Much of that involves Atlantis. The Atlantean colony was not only us, humanity, Earth humanity, but it was also spacefaring nations. And I want you to look at the idea that you had many interstellar routes coming and going from Earth. Because our solar system is very near a major trade route that galactic civilization in our galaxy have with other galaxies. So when you're leaving our galaxy, heading to a specific point in space, there are very specific trade routes or stargates, wormholes that you would travel to go to those other destinations. Okay.
Yeah.
So Earth, our solar system is near one of them because we're pretty much in the boonies, in the outskirts of our galaxy. We're on one of the wings, one of the whispers, as it spins. Well, during Atlantis, the planet was very open. And at that particular time, Enki's side of the family, what I understand, was basically in charge of Earth. There was a significant amount of sharing of technology, sharing of spirituality, sharing of history, historical knowledge, sharing of medicine, healing modalities, all of that. When the Manu side of the family and Lil interceded and basically began to quarantine Earth, there was, for some reason, a lot of friction. And wars broke out. Hostilities broke out. Not only amongst the families that were managing the planet of Earth and humanity, but also some of the space visitors. Friction began to break out. And at one point, everyone left except promise had been made, what I was told, a promise by the Pleiadians they were going to protect us, that we were going to have time to sort things out ourselves by ourselves. So that didn't happen. Other races came in. Reptilian races, aquatic races, races from Orion, they came in and they started screwing with us. They started changing our DNA. They started doing biological experiments. They manipulated our DNA. A lot of things that went on that we did not agree to, nor were we even asked permission. So, to make a long story short, there was a promise of protection, and they didn't keep that promise. And here we are.
Okay.
Things are a mess.
So that's the reason why they are coming back so desperately, right?
Yes. My understanding is they're trying to set things right. Make things right.
Okay. Yeah, I have heard about...
No one's perfect. And, no one's perfect. I don't know the circumstances regarding what was going on in the Pleiadian Empire or culture at that time. It could have been that there was all this stuff going on in their star system, and it didn't involve Earth. It could be that a promise was made they couldn't keep. I don't know. So it's not a question of judging what happened, but that is what happened, okay? It could be they had the best of intentions and it didn't work out. I don't know exactly. But, it's interesting to note that, just like we're evolving, they're still evolving. Regardless of how evolved and advanced they are, technologically and spiritually, that doesn't mean their journey's come to an end.
Yeah.
They're still growing as well, and expanding their awareness and adapting to the changes that they have to deal with. I mean, we're all on a learning curve here, and that's why it's important we don't worship anybody except the Creator. Okay, we don't worship any race. Okay, we can't because they're learning still too. They're on a learning curve. They're on an evolutionary curve. Even though they may be far ahead of us, it doesn't mean they're perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. So I think that I will take the two more questions here.
Okay. We just had this thing. Whether you're an Andromedan, Orion, Reptilian, Pleiadian, Procyon, etc. Shit happened.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, the old adage, as above, so below. It's true. It really is true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you are definitely dealing with more ethical races, the more evolved they get. But stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that, everybody's trying to do the best they can, whether it's self-serving or not. You're doing the best for them. But for those races who are, we would consider benevolent, they're really trying to do the best they can for everybody. It just doesn't always work out the way we want,
Yeah, that's right.
So, okay.
Okay, this is another question from Hector Diaz. And he says, give us an advice about how to eliminate or reduce our ego in order to get in closer contact and care with our brothers and ourselves. I will read this again. Give us an advice about how to eliminate or reduce our ego in order to get in closer contact and care with our brothers and ourselves. Thank you.
Okay. That's a really great question. It's probably a really good question to end on. I myself don't have a magic bullet or a magical answer to this. I can only tell you what I'm doing myself to deal with my own ego. Okay?
Yeah.
And that is that I try to spend as much time outside in the sun and in nature. The reason for that is it always humbles me. When I look at the perfection of the sun, when I look at the perfection of nature, and how it doesn't have cars, it doesn't have rules, it doesn't have, you don't need licenses, you don't need money. It's perfect the way it works. You know, whether we are here or not, nature is just remarkable. And it always humbles me. And in that humbleness, I remember that I am a part of this perfection, no matter what. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm in that moment, witnessing this perfection. When I do get into an ego space, it's usually, 99% of the time, only when I'm in a space of fear. And when I really look at what is it that I'm really afraid of, it's usually not something that's real. It's just shit I make up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, 99% of the fears that I have aren't real. It's just shit I make up. When I get that, then I can try to stay in that space. I'm not always there. I'm not saying I am. You know, Earth is Earth. You know, when you deal with other human beings, it gets really interesting.
Yeah, right.
That's what I try to do for me every day. Something along those lines. You know, when I'm in those spaces of nature and humbleness, you know, I'm praying. To God. You know, I'm in that space where these guys go to see, understand, know myself. You know, that's my mantra every single day. I give myself my mistakes. I've made some whoppers. So that's what I do.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, I think that my phone is carrying the battery. It's over. So.
Well, this has been wonderful. Maybe we can do this again.
Yeah, I'm really amazed with this conversation. So let's get I will let on pending the last question in order to give you a couple of minutes if you want to give a message to the people who is listening this conversation. I don't know. I mean,
love yourself, forgive yourself, be yourself. You know, that's the message. You know, that's what I try to do every day.
Yeah.
Myself, forgive myself, and be myself.
Right.
You know, that's the message. Okay?
Good.
You know, the Native Americans, the indigenous people, they kept things real simple. There's a reason for that, and that's because it doesn't take a lot of words, you know, to express the truth, you know. And you know, I try to adhere to that. I really do. It makes sense for me. It works for me.
Okay.
All right.
That's
So to
fine.
everyone who's been listening, to everyone who took the time to send questions, muchas gracias. Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here for you, and you have honored me. with your time. Thank you. I hope I've done it justice.
Okay, thank you to you, Mr. Collier. So please don't hang up. I will say goodbye to the listeners, and I want to talk the last words with you after this. Please wait a second. Así que bueno, hemos terminado en esta ocasión la entrevista con el señor Alex Collier. Como él lo ha dicho hace un momento, seguramente habrá otra oportunidad para tener otra conversación con él muy pronto. Yo les estaré anunciando esto. Les agradezco mucho a todos aquellos quienes han participado. Muchísimas gracias. Estamos en contacto. Acuérdense de visitar la página de Facebook, ahí encontrarán toda la información, y la página de shinydemise.com. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Hasta pronto.